Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project Veterans Voices. I'm your host, AJ Cox, and today we're having a part two of Dan Gross's story. Can't wait to get into this, but if you guys are enjoying the podcast, make sure you go hit up the new website. That's the Lost Art Project, veteransvoices.org. Go check that out, see what we're all about. We are a nonprofit, so any way you can help support us would be much appreciated. But yeah, we're moving right along, and I'm super excited about now nonprofit gathering these stories and archiving them. It's a great deal. But big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project, man. Great organization. I always say it. Go check them out. If there's any way you can support them, it would be much appreciated as well. You can find them at tillvalhallaproject.com.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member.
Here we are, man. We're back. I got Dan back with us again. Dan, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh man, I can't complain. I get to hear the rest of your story, or at least part of the rest of your story. We'll see how it turns out on us here. So
remember, I said I got a few years in, so
it's all good. I don't mind at all, and I get to hear some great sea stories. So hey, nothing wrong with this. It's all good. Man.
Good.
Yeah. Well, shoot, let's jump back into it. I know you mentioned you want to go back and hit a couple of things, so let's go ahead and do it.
So when I was on the Reclaimer, this is a couple of stories from there. So when I was on there, I had said we were in the yards. I took a bunch of movies out to inventory them and send them back.
Right.
Well, we'd gotten a new first class on board that was in my rate or in my job, and he saw that and oh my gosh, we can't have that. So ended up having an investigation. So, instead of just coming to me and saying, hey, what's going on? And here we go, we're done. Oh, no. I got to go to the XO for that, for XOI.
Oh,
did a
my
whole
word.
investigation. Did a whole investigation on it. The XO looked at me and he goes, why'd you do that? And I said, well, I talked to my LPO at the time. And, he was like, yeah, that's fine. It was a miscommunication, but yeah, been to XO. To start out, I've been to XOI more than once. We'll just put it that
way. Hey, that's the mark of a good career right there. Starting out, and you have to do it once or twice.
Exactly. There was a right after I had put E5 on.
Okay.
Another guy that's now passed away, but he was an engineman. And we had duty on a Sunday. So we're both working, and Navy, you tag stuff out to do maintenance and stuff. So all the electrical power valves are shut, whatever. So he comes down and he's like, hey, can you come sign these tags for me? Sure. Not a problem. So I go sign the tags. And I'm like, this valve's not right. He's like, oh, well, that valve's bad. So we go back to the valve before that, and we've got that one secured. It's all good. Okay. I trust him. It's his space. It's his maintenance, not a big deal.
Okay.
So I sign it. I walk away. And a little bit later, I hear him pass the word for flooding.
Oh, no.
Evidently, that valve was not secured before that.
Oh, geez.
As he's dumping water down on top of the diesels, I'm looking at it. He's a second class. He's an E5, and he's got some time in. I'm just a freshly frocked E5.
Yeah.
So if I get busted for this, which with all respect, I could have gotten hammered for this.
Right. Yeah.
But so I'm looking at being an E3 again.
Yeah.
Instead of going back to E4, because I'm not even getting paid for E5 yet. So I'm looking at it, and I've got a brand new baby.
Yeah.
So we go down to the ship's office, which we had a personnelman at the time that was one of the master at arms. So it's a Sunday. We get everything cleaned up. We go down there. We're sitting there, and he's looking at us. He's like, "So, what do you guys think?" And we're like, I don't know." Well, we hear some footsteps coming. So we're like, "Okay, what's going on here?" Well, it happened to be the chief engineer.
Oh no.
Yeah, my department head showed up on a Sunday, and he just like casually comes down the ladder and comes over to the ship's office, and me and the other guy are sitting there, and he opens up his mailbox, and he gets his mail out, and he looks in at us, and he goes, "So how are you two doing?" And we both hung our heads, because I mean, this was a guy that you just, I mean, I looked up to him. He'd been a senior chief, and then went warrant.
Oh wow. Okay.
So he'd been around for a couple days.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I love this guy. I mean, really looked up to him. And so we're sitting there, and we just kind of hung our heads like Dad's mad at us. And he turned around and walked away. Never heard a thing about it. He stopped everything right there. Because I mean, yeah, we could have been for the captain. I mean, it would not have been good.
Yeah.
It would have not been good. So yeah, I've had my fair share of trouble as I started out. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Well, the good part was it was when you started out. So,
yes.
You know,
and
it was expected to a certain degree. So,
and it was a learning experience. And instead of just getting hammered, you know, you got the benefit of the doubt. And I've told people, you know, like my son, when you go in, if you go in, doesn't matter what branch you're at, what your job is, but if you get to your command and you do the best job you possibly can, then when you mess up, because you will mess up at some point.
That's for sure.
If you've been that person that, you know, hey, you know, this guy came in and he just busted his rear and everything's good, you'll have a chance of not getting in as much trouble. But if you come in and you're the guy that just hangs out, you're always late, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know, you're going to get hammered.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely the way that is.
Very true.
So yeah, we'll get into that, and my next ship you'll understand that a little bit more.
Okay.
So fast forward, we go back to the the Copeland.
Okay.
The frigate that was in San Diego.
I
transferred there. Went through the inspections, got that stuff done, and we had a big cruise around South America.
Okay.
So it's an East Coast cruise, technically.
Okay.
So it's one that the East Coast ships technically get. They go down through Puerto Rico, they go through the canal, and then down the west side of South America, around the Horn, back up, and then they go home.
So you're doing from San Diego, you're doing the opposite route then.
Well, we went down and we went through the canal and went to Puerto Rico and met up with the East Coast ships.
Okay.
And then went back through the canal and then back down and around.
Oh, geez.
And then back through the ditch again to get back home.
Holy cow.
So that was a Unitas.
Okay.
And it would have been in 95.
Yeah.
So we hit 22 ports in 6 months.
Whew.
Yeah. It was a party cruise. I mean, it was show the flag, do some exercises with the host country nation, and then go on to the next one.
Wow. That's pretty cool though. I mean, at least you got some good liberty time, I was assuming, at those ports. We
ended up we would actually take people's duty because we were out of money.
Oh, geez.
So you'd be like, we're out of cash, so we're just going to stay on the ship anyway. If somebody else wants to go, we'll take your duty, your watches for you. You just go ahead and go have fun.
You spent all your cash.
Yeah, it was.
Nice.
I mean, we had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Had a blast. I had an LPO that was a great LPO. Had a good chief.
Mm-hmm.
We went through the ditch. We got to Puerto Rico, and I ended up having to go home on emergency leave.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My wife at the time was having some issues. She had actually came back home and brought another guy's girlfriend with her. So it was her, my daughter, and this other gal, and there were some issues. So I ended up flying home, taking care of some stuff, and sending her back to California to get back there until I was there.
Okay.
Which is where my son came along.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah,
exactly. So fly back, get down to Panama, meet the ship as they're coming back through. They'd already been to Colombia, a couple different ports in Colombia.
Oh, wow.
And go back through the ditch, meet them down there, and then went to Colombia. We went to Ecuador, Chile, and then through the Straits of Magellan down there.
Yeah.
Which were, I mean, that is one of the absolute best places I've ever been.
Really?
So, as we're cruising along through there, at night there were no lights anywhere because it's just icebergs and glaciers and stuff. So as we were going, you could watch the ice fall off the glaciers into the water.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Huh. That's pretty cool. You don't get to see that every day. That's for sure.
No. When we were in Chile, we ended up having to change of command.
Okay.
So the CNO, Admiral Borda at the time, flew down to Chile for our change of command.
Oh, nice.
So on that, let's see. There was us, there was another frigate, there was a sub, and there was a helo that was with us. So the helo was originally on the Copeland with us.
Okay.
And the sub was attached to the other frigate as sub support. So they would pull up next to them if they needed stuff. If they were pulling in, they would take care of that.
Right.
As we were going through into Ecuador, I believe it was Ecuador, the other frigate actually hit something in the channel.
Oh no.
And it didn't get documented on exactly where they hit it. We'll just put it that way.
Okay.
So we ended up taking the sub at that point, and they ended up going to Panama to get repaired, to get the screw repaired, because they hit the screw with whatever it was that was solid enough to jerk them around.
Yeah. Holy cow.
So in Chile, during this change of command, Admiral Borda is there, the CNO, okay, great. And he's doing an all hands call. Well, we've got our crew, we've got the sub on board, the sub crew on board.
All right.
And they're tied up outboard of us. And then we have the helo deck.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, the Admiral looks around and he says, so does anybody have any questions? Which is exactly, as a leader, what you do not want, because somebody is going to raise their hand and be like, I've got a question. And sure enough, this kid
raises, without fail.
Without fail. So as this kid raises his hand and the Admiral calls on him, he's like, what can we do for you? He's like, well, I want to get out of the Navy and they won't let me, but there's other people that want to re-enlist and they won't let them re-enlist. Is there something we can do? And everybody looks to see who's the idiot that's asking the CNO what they can do about getting out of the Navy.
Yeah.
And he goes, so, which ship, where are you attached to? He's, oh, I'm on the sub. And you could just see the whole chain of command in the sub just shrink.
Oh, no.
He goes, well, here, I'll let the Master Chief talk to your Master Chief about that, and we'll see what we can do about that.
Nice. Oh, geez. That's exactly what you want to hear, too.
Exactly. In those formations, that is not what you want to hear.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's good.
Yeah. So we continue on. We in that port, we got back a little bit late one night. Didn't get in trouble. We came back with shore patrol. We were actually looking for somebody that had taken an earlier boat back, but yeah, we were waiting for him, and last boat's going in with shore patrol, and we told them what was going on. They're like, well, I think he went back, but I'm not sure. So we ended up going back with shore patrol. Didn't get in trouble. We got back late.
Okay. Me
being a 2M tech, and the worst thing is a bored junior sailor.
Well, yeah.
Or it doesn't matter what branch, but a bored junior enlisted individual.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we had this little box, and I ended up taking some lights out of something else and putting them on the box, drilling some holes, soldering them in. And we had a little alarm. It's called an E1D1 is what it was. It was like a bus failure alarm. So if you'd lose power, it would go off. So had its own power. So we put that in there. I ended up putting a micro switch on it, and we put it inside this box. Okay. We put some string across it, and all of a sudden you had a CBAT.
Okay.
And what is a CBAT? Oh, it's a terrible thing. You just hate to catch a CBAT. So it's kind of like a jackalope.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got it setting we get underway. We've got it setting on the bench, and one of the other guys from one of the other shops comes in, and he's like, hey, what's that? Oh, that's a CBAT. It gets into the hazing again, but statute of limitations is over on it, so it's okay.
That's right.
So with the CBAT, you would grab a mop, grab a broom, whatever, and when the person would lift the box up to take a look, you'd hit them because you didn't want the bat to get out, because they were just terrible. They were vicious.
I love it.
So we ended up hitting this kid 2 or 3 times as he raised the box to see what was there, and then he realized, oh, there's nothing there. But every time he would raise the box, the lights would come on, and it would squeal at him, and we would hit him at the same time.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I've never heard that one before. That one's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, that's good. And he goes, "Where did you get it?" Oh, we got that in. We came in on the last Liberty launch last night. We caught it on the pier. It's amazing that we caught this thing. And he's like, "Oh, really? I want to see it." So we had fun with that with a few people.
That's
so
pretty good.
We go through the straits. Like I said, sitting down there and listening to the gas turbines run in the middle of the night, and you could see every star there was. I mean, you could see the galaxy, you could see everything, because there's no ambient light anywhere.
Yeah.
Just what's on the ship. So we get down, and I believe, I'd have to look for sure, but I believe it was Uruguay that we pulled into.
Okay.
And it was like a 3-hour sea and anchor transit to get up there. So sea and anchor transit is, if you're going in somewhere, even when you're pulling into a port, they set sea and anchor so that they can take radar or fixes off of different things to make sure you're in the center of the channel so you don't hit anything.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So we get down there, getting ready to pull out that morning. And while we were down there, we had some people come on board, and we had a bunch of people do the polar bear plunge, where they jump in the water and get their certificate. I decided not to.
Yeah. Smart move.
we were doing side boys for somebody that had shown up, and so there was some rank there, and all of a sudden somebody hollers, "That's a penguin!" And everybody drops what they're doing and looks, and sure enough, there's a penguin swimming in the water down there. That's how far south we were.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And nobody believed him at first till we turned around and saw it. And then we're like, that is a penguin. So
that's great.
So we're getting ready to leave that morning and doing all the pre-underway checks to make sure everything's working correctly. And somebody calls down, said that the surface search radar wasn't working. Okay. So they use that on the sea and anchor transits to check points to make sure, like I said, we're in the center of the channel so we don't hit anything. So I send one of my guys up. He goes up, takes a look at it. And he said when he opened the container or the box that had it in there, it arced at him.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, we were at quarters doing our morning muster, seeing what was going on. So we got done with that, went down to the shop. I grabbed a tool bag and I told him, I said, hey, grab the tech manual and let's go up and we'll take a quick look at it. If we can't figure it out, we'll swap some parts around, but we've got to get the surface search radar going so that we can get out of here. Okay. So he decides that he doesn't like me at that point.
Okay.
And pushes me. And again, guy I worked with daily and wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So I stepped back a couple steps and he looked at me and he goes, screw you, golden boy. That was my phrase because I got in a couple NAMs.
Yeah.
For working on stuff and fixing things and stuff. So I got awards. He thought he needed an award. He didn't get one.
Yeah.
So I'm golden boy. So as I step forward, he starts coming off the bench at me again in my direction. So I just put my hands up to stop him. All I did. Well, somebody else walked in and sees it. And here's the commotion. Yeah. I looked at the kid. I'm like, you know what? You stay where you're at. I'm going to go up, take a look at it. I'm just going to write you up. I'm going to do paperwork on you and we're done. So we go up, we have to swap some parts out. Took me like 5 hours to figure out what the actual problem was with that component, but we were able to get stuff back up so that we could get underway and get out of there. So he gets written up. They've got 4 or 5 charges on him. He goes in front of the chiefs, which is the disciplinary review board or DRB.
Okay. Yeah.
Is what they call it. And everybody just went off on him. So a few days later, I'm supposed to go to XOI.
Okay.
Now, let me step back before we get to XOI. So at one point, my division officer walks up to me, a little Filipino guy, and he's like, hey, we've got this program that you need to put in for. I'm like, what program? And this would have been before we got underway. Okay. But I'm like, what program? And he goes, oh, it's Seaman to Admiral. And I'm like, what is Seaman to Admiral? He goes, oh, if you get selected, you'll be an officer. And I looked at him and I go, I hate officers. Why would I want to do that? So unbeknownst to me, the department heads all get together and pretty much filled my package out.
Oh, no way.
I never saw most of the package. I was told to go get my picture taken. So I went in and got my picture taken and submitted that.
And they just did the rest of everything. That's wild.
Yep. They did everything.
Okay.
So during this altercation that we had, it's about the first part of October.
Okay.
To give you time frame of the year. So, go to see the XO as a witness and go up to the XO. We go through everything that happened, turn around. XO dismisses me and the other kid. We walk out and the XO looks at the chief master at arms and he goes, I want Gross on report for assault. If you look at the letter of the law in the military, if I touch you, that's assault.
Oh my God.
So because I was the senior person,
Yeah.
even though the kid pushed me first and then started coming off the chair again, I put my hands up. According to the rules, I touched him. That was assault.
Get out of town.
So I get a call from one of the other master at arms, and he's like, "Hey, are you going to see the captain today?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm going to as a witness." He goes, No. Are you going to see the captain?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Yes, you are." About that time, they passed the word for me. So I go down to supply because the chief master at arms happened to be the supply chief.
Yeah.
I walked in and he's like, "Look, first of all, nobody in your chain of command agrees with this. You're being a scapegoat, basically." So I signed the paperwork, signed my report sheet.
Yeah.
And I said, "How long do I have?" And the chief looks at me and he goes, "Well, go get your blues on because probably about 30 minutes.
Oh, geez.
So I go grab my uniform, throw my stuff together, go to captain's mast. And as we're waiting outside, because there was a few other captain's masts that day, there was a whole bunch of them. They put a whole bunch of them together. A bunch of the junior deck division guys had gotten in fights and stuff in the berthing. Yeah. And so there was a bunch of stuff going. So we, I'm standing there. My Divo, my department head, are standing there. I looked at my Divo and I said, "Well, I guess I'm not going to make that Seaman to Admiral thing." And he's like, "Well, the results just came out and you didn't make it." Well, one of the things was you didn't no captain's mass. You had a certain time frame that you had to be in the military, certain age bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't make it that time. But now I get hammered with a NJP for assault.
Oh,
and
God.
Me and the other kid both got 30 half months suspended for 2 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So 30 days restriction, 30 days extra duty. So the next port I missed. They did escort me out so I could make a phone call to my wife, but we get back on board, keep going. And about 2 weeks later, my LPO, my first class, had been up to see the captain multiple times. He called for him up there, had the chief up there, bunch of stuff. So about 2 weeks later, I get the word passed that we need to go up and see the CO in his stateroom. So we go up, and the CO's like, "Well, you guys are getting along pretty well, so I'm just going to set this aside." Personally, I lost respect for the man, because if you're going to make a bad decision, at least stand behind it. Just me. But I mean, he had all the info ahead of time. Yeah. But and heard it from multiple people, but you know, that's what the XO wanted. That's what he decided. So we got 30 half months suspended for 2 months. Like I said, 2 weeks later, got set aside. So now I've got this in my service record. It said NJP awarded, NJP set aside.
So that kind of makes it look like almost negates the NJP at that point.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. So technically it never happened. It's in my record, but it never happened.
Yeah.
So we continue on. We ended up in Rio for a few days. We ended up in Salvador, Brazil for a few days. Go back up, go back through the ditch, get back home. And
how long total was that trip?
6 months.
6 months. Okay.
Yeah. Right at 6 months. So we get back to San Diego, sunny San Diego. Everybody loves San Diego.
That's right.
Get back there. And all of a sudden we're going to sell the ship.
Okay.
So they sell it to the Egyptians.
Okay.
For like $1. There's an amount that has to be made, but basically you're giving it to them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how that stuff works. So we get back, we're doing stuff, and all of a sudden we get Egyptians that show up. So we start doing a turnover with the Egyptian Navy.
Yeah.
Got a lieutenant, Egyptian lieutenant, and an Egyptian like senior chief. So like an E8 and O3.
Okay.
And in the Egyptian Navy, at least at that time, the officers did all the work. And the enlisted were basically just gophers.
I see. Yeah.
Do the grunt work, do the gopher, but anything needed to be fixed, it was the enlisted guys. So, or the officers.
Right.
So we're going through that. There were pros and cons with that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it was pretty funny that I can't say on here.
Okay.
There was the Egyptians were living on a barge at the head of the pier.
Okay.
So the HTs, hull techs, and the damage controlmen, they went over just to do a welfare check, make sure everything was good on the barge and everything.
Right.
Well, they walked into the galley, which is where they cook the food, and they've got a bucket. So the heads were on the second deck of the barge, and the waste happened to be in a pipe that ran through the galley on this barge. Well, there was a leak. So instead of doing anything about it, they just put a bucket underneath of it and kept fixing food in there.
Okay, that's just gross. That's
right.
Yeah. Ugh.
There was an incident over at the exchange that one of the Egyptians ended up getting sent home.
Okay.
A little incident over there. So they ended up getting sent home. So it was a very unique experience. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. They definitely, the way they look at life, the way they look at living and stuff is definitely different than how we do, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we had exchanged different things with them, and we go out for our last underway to make sure that they're safe to sail and they can get underway and they can make it back to Egypt.
Okay.
So we're up by San Clemente Island, cutting holes in the water and just doing big circles.
Right.
And we did a steering check because we were going to be going in the next day. So one of the steering gears had an issue. Wasn't working. So they call us, we go down, take a look at it. That was part of our stuff. And it was a relay that was bad. And it was this K1 relay was the only thing that ever really happened to those steering gears, but that relay would burn out.
Okay. So it was pretty normal for that to happen.
It was a normal thing for that class of ship.
Okay.
So supply had already turned over with the Egyptians. Okay. So I go find my Egyptian counterpart and I'm like, hey, we need this relay. And he looks at me, he's like, oh, okay, I will get it. All right. So like an hour or two later, I go find him and I'm like, hey, where's that relay at? Oh, I'm working on it. Okay. So my division officer's getting a hold of me saying, hey, what's the deal?
Yeah.
So I go find the guy again. I'm like, where's the relay at? We need to get this. He's like, well, I don't have it. All right. Why don't you have it? I know we have them in the storeroom. Why don't we have them? Looks at me and he goes, well, my supply officer is not on board.
So he can't get it.
And because the officers run everything, the enlisted supply guys that are on board don't have access to the supply room. They don't have the code to get into the supply room.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, you're joking, right? He's like, no. He said, supply officer's not on board. And I go, why not? Well, we think he might be driving a cab in New York.
What?
They're like, we think he might have defected and he's in New York and he's not coming home with us. So
wow.
I shake my head by that time, my department head's been asking me where things are at. So I go up to the department head, and I'm like, "Hey, sir." He goes, "Do you have that thing fixed?" And I said, "No." "Why not?" Said, "Well, you're not going to believe this." He's like, "What?" And I said, "Well, he's telling me that the Egyptian supply officer is not on board and nobody else has access to the supply room." "What do you mean nobody has access to the supply room?" Just what I said, you know. He goes, "Why isn't the supply officer on board?" "Well, they think he might be driving a taxi cab in New York right now." And he's like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "Nope, not kidding." He goes,
can't
"You're
make
coming
this
with
up.
me." And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm coming with you?" He goes, "Oh, we're going to go see the CO. You're coming with me."
Oh, geez.
So up the ladder we go. We go up to CO's stateroom. And he's like, the CO's like, looks at my department head. He's like, is it fixed? He's like, "Well, sir, no, it's not." And he looks at me and I'm like, "Well, sir, evidently the supply officer for the Egyptians is not on board, and we've already turned over supply to the Egyptians. So I can't get a relay."
Oh,
"What do
geez.
you mean?" I said, "Well, according to my counterpart, the supply officer is not on board, and they're not sure where he's at because I said, I don't know, they're joking, but they think he might be driving a taxi cab somewhere." So the CO calls up to the bridge to have him pass the word, and they pass the word for the Egyptian commanding officer to lay to the CO stateroom now.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. So,
Nice.
yeah, the CO gets up there, and the Egyptian CO gets up there, and they go to ask what's going on. And he's like, "Well, we just don't know where he's at." So they tell the hall techs, the American hall techs
Uh-huh.
and damage controlmen, "You need to get into the supply room. I don't care how you do it. You need to get in there."
Yeah.
So there was a scuttle outside in the P-way outside of our dispersing in our office, our ship's office.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but that night I ended up getting a relay because they figured out a way to get in to the supply room to get this relay.
Wow.
Now, myself and the guy that I had, we went to captain's mast together.
Yeah.
We both had early watches. So my other third class has got watch. And I'm like, "Hey, when supply brings this to you, come wake me and the other guy up. We'll go down and we'll fix it. Not a problem." Okay. So about 2:30 in the morning, I get woke up by the messenger of the watch off the bridge. And he's like, "Hey, did that steering gear get fixed?" And I'm like, "No, I'm waiting on a part." And he goes, "Well, no, you have the part." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And I'm like, "Let me go check." So sure enough, I get up, I go up to the shop. Guess what? There's the part sitting on the bench.
Oh, no.
So instead of waking the guy up that I was going to wake up, I woke the kid up that had watch and was supposed to come wake us up.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And I'm like, "Well, let's go put this relay in." "Well, I thought you and the other guy were going to do it." I said, I was. Get up, get in the shop. So he comes up to the shop, and I said, "So what time did they bring that?" "Oh, it was about 2200.
Oh, my God.
And I go, "They showed up at 2200 with a relay." I said, "How late does supply usually work?" He's like, "Well, 1600. And I'm like, "Yeah." So supply was actually working after hours. That's like something incredible. So if they're working after hours and I told you to come get me, we got a problem. So he ended up helping me. He ran all the tags, tagged everything out. We went down, we soldered it in. And the CO that night had put in the CO standing orders that once it was repaired, I had control of the ship to do a steering gear test. So
Oh, wow.
we get everything done about 4:30 in the morning and clear the tags. I call up to the bridge to do a rudder check. And they come back and say, well, we're in restricted maneuvering right now. We've got a bunch of ships out and about because we were in a shipping lane. So we can't do it yet. I said, okay. I looked at the kid that, again, decided not to wake me up. And I said, well, you're up until we can do steering checks. So they didn't do steering checks until about 06:30.
Oh, geez. He was up the whole night.
Up all night long.
Nice.
And the next morning, we get up for quarters. And I ask, I'm like, where's he at? Well, he was up all night. I'm like, oh, no. So you go wake him up. So he ended up coming back, getting up there. And he's like, I didn't get any sleep last night. I said, I know. And it's your fault. You were told to wake us up and we would have taken care of it, but you didn't. So because, again, lack of attention to detail, as episode 1, you're going to find out what the consequences are.
That's great.
So yeah, we ended up getting in, and the CO came down and he was doing a walk around, and he asked me, he goes, do you think that they're safe to sail to get back to Egypt? And the outside buoy of the harbor is 1 SD. So it's one whatever port you're pulling into.
Right.
That's your first buoy. And I said, if you get them past that into open waters, I really don't care. Just send them away. So they ended up hiring a civilian crew to go on board and actually take it back to Egypt for them.
Wow.
A few years later, through the grapevine, I heard that they were doing maintenance and they had taken most of the hatches off to go from one deck to another. And somebody opened up the sea chest down in the engine room and they sank that ship at the pier in Alexandria.
That's impressive.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. Sank her right to the bottom.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Egypt is kind of in a desert area, so sailing.
I mean, they've still got a navy.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not their strong suit, I would say.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, getting ready to get orders to get out of there. Go to my next command. So, I talked to the detailer, and my chief happened to know my detailer from his previous command.
Okay.
Just happened to know him. So called the detailer and I said, hey, what do you have? And he goes, well, you're going to go to the Shipboard Intermediate Maintenance Facility, or SEMA, in San Diego. And I'm like, no, I do not want to stay in San Diego and go to this command. So called him back and I'm like, look, what do you have that's haze gray and underway in Hawaii? Do you have anything that's over there? And his voice got all giddy and he's like, well, I've got this LST, which is an old flat bottom.
Oh yeah.
Landing ship. And he goes, I've got a billet on there and I'll give it to you. He said, I can't find anybody to take it. I'm like, send it. So we get underway, we come back, and I don't have orders yet. My orders are still going to the SEMA in San Diego.
Right.
And I call him and he's like, well, he said, that's a female billet. And they were trying to get women on board ships. They were doing the integration and
right. Yeah.
It was an old ship. So they were redoing berthings and stuff. And he goes, I can't give those orders to you. because it's a female billet. And I was like, and he was a bosun mate. So bosun mates are entertaining, and he was a senior chief. So, bosun mates and cooks, they're very entertaining.
That is probably the best description I've heard when you're talking about something like that, like entertaining. They're entertaining. That was good.
And people think bosun mates are dumb, and they're not.
Yeah. Oh, because they got to be pretty smart.
The amount of gear that they have on board on any ship, they run the paint lockers, they run all of that stuff. So, they're very smart, but they're considered the knuckle draggers. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's this senior chief that's been around for a while, and I'm like, senior, I said, send me those orders. I'll take them. He's like, I can't. They're female billet. And I said, if you send me the orders, I will go to the uniform shop. I will buy a skirt and I will check on board the ship in a skirt and send you pictures. And he's like, I can't do it. So he gave me my choice of reserve centers. I could go to Bremerton, Washington, Corpus Christi, Texas, or St. Louis.
Okay.
Well, St. Louis was, fairly close to Nebraska because it's where I grew up. So I had been in Hawaii for 2 years. I'd been in San Diego for 2 years. Let's get within 8 hours of home.
Yeah.
So I take the orders to Reserve Center in St. Louis. Check on board there. That's where I ended up doing my first set of first funeral. Was in St. Louis.
Okay.
So do that, and had a great thing. Back in the day, there was a program called R-Stars, and for reservists, it was their individual training plans.
Okay.
So, active duty, you've got training because that's just, we're doing what everything is. But reservists, again, you are there for 2 days a month, and then you go somewhere for 2 weeks sometime throughout the year.
Right.
So they had these individual training plans where they had to be CPR certified, where they had basic damage control. Well, I was got put in charge of that.
So he's basically running the program.
To make sure training was set up. So people needed training. They could come in on the weekend. It was available for them. They could get it done.
Right.
So been there for a few months. Went down to the school down in Louisiana, down into New Orleans. So had a little week and a half long trip down there, which was a blast.
Yeah. Was it during Mardi Gras season?
Actually, it was better. It was during Halloween.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so according to the locals, is don't show up for Mardi Gras, come down for Halloween, because Mardi Gras, everybody from everywhere shows up for Mardi Gras.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Only the locals come out for Halloween.
Really? Okay.
So it's the same type atmosphere without all the outside people causing problems.
Yeah. There's tons of problems during Mardi Gras for sure.
Yeah. So went down for that, came back, and I had a bosun mate master chief as my department head.
Okay.
And my CO was a Vietnam era helo pilot.
Okay.
That was a full bird captain and was on his twilight tour.
Oh man. Yeah. Nice.
And for some reason he liked me.
Very nice. Bonus.
Big bonus.
Yeah.
At one point he'd come to me after the weekends, and in St. Louis we had about 1,000 reservists. So we drilled twice a month.
So like half and half type of deal?
Half and half.
Yeah.
And then we had a third weekend where we had just a skeleton crew there because there was a small boat unit that was attached there. So they would drill on the third weekend. And then anybody who had makeup stuff from either the first or the last weekend that we normally drilled, they could show up and do their drills during that weekend.
I see. So pretty much every weekend and every month you had something going on.
3 weekends a month we had people at the reserve center.
Yeah. Wow.
So they'd also put me in charge of urinalysis. So here I am in E5, which it's supposed to be a khaki. It's supposed to be E7 or above, but they put me in charge of it. So I'm running urinalysis for the entire reserve center, as well as doing my other job. So we got a new chief in, and he was a unique individual. We'll just put it that way. We did not see eye to eye. Understatement of not seeing eye to eye.
I got you. Okay.
So snow was flying, and we were actually on the National Guard base right across from the airport in St. Louis.
Okay. So
it was snowing. We had a small tractor that they'd left there at some point. Me and an engineman were there, went out. We were rebuilding the carburetor so that we could move snow.
Yeah.
Because being a gearhead from back in high school, I just never really got rid of that.
Yeah.
So I get this. The chief comes out and he's like, "Hey, we need to sign your eval." Okay. So sure enough, I go in, look at it. He's like, "Well, the master chief went ahead and wrote this up for you. I'm just having you sign it." Okay. So I'm looking at it. I get ready to sign it. And he goes, "Hey, what do you think of me?" Now, at the time, I'm an E5 that has a little bit of an attitude, shall we say?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, what do you think of me?" And I said, "Now, chief, I'm just going to sign my eval. I'm going to take off." He's like, No. What do you think of me?" So I end up shutting the door, telling him what I think of him, sign my eval, and go out and get the tractor running so that I can move snow and we've got someplace to park.
Yeah.
A few months later, the CO had found out that I had put in for Seaman to Admiral.
Okay.
So he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, I hear you put in for it at one point." I'm like, "Yeah, it is what it is." He's like, "Well, you're going to do that again."
You were voluntold.
I was voluntold.
Yeah.
So sure enough, I get my paperwork done, start doing my interviews. I actually had to do interviews this time.
Okay.
And I walk in, I got a captain. So I got an 06, an 05, and 2 04s.
Okay.
Captain commander and lieutenant commanders sitting there for my interview. I walked in, the captain looks at me and he goes, "So why do you want to be an officer?" And I said, I don't. So I don't even like officers. I go, "But if you deem that you think I would be a good officer," I said, "I would do it just for my junior people."
Yeah.
And he kind of looks at me and he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "It's all about the junior people." I said, "Officers don't do anything." I said, "Officers are good for a signature. They're good for the 10,000, the 50,000 foot level looks to make sure things are safe, but they're not doing the work." And he kind of looks at me and I said, "Here's the deal." I said, if you get me over there and I make it, I get selected. I go, my job is to make my junior people's job easier.
That's good.
I said, if I come in someday and I've got a young sailor that is having issues at home, whether the car's broke down, whatever the case is, he's stressed about something, and I can give him half a day or a day off to go take care of that. I said, when he comes back, he will lie, cheat, and steal for you to make you look good because you just looked out for him.
Yeah.
I said, and once everybody understands that, I go, it's beautiful. Things happen and you don't have to ask how they happened. They just happen.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, if the juniors don't like the seniors, they can make their life
living hell.
Terrible. Yes.
Yeah.
So went through that. they write their recommendations up. Okay. And we used to play volleyball for PT in the mornings for the reserve center.
Okay.
So we get done playing PT one day, and the CO walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, do you have your blues?" Well, yeah, I've got them here because we go do funerals on a fairly regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Well, go put them on. The Admiral's here, and he's going to do an interview for Seaman to Admiral for you."
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm like, "Okay." So I throw this, and he was a reserve admiral.
Mm-hmm.
He was an airline pilot. And so he'd fly into St. Louis and he'd come over there and do his drills and stuff.
Yeah.
So I go get my blues on and knock on the door. I walk in, and the Admiral's sitting there, and he's got my record in front of him, and he's looking at it, and he's taking his finger and he's reading across it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, looks at it, looks up at me, looks at it, looks up at me. He goes, "You don't have to tell me, but what happened?" He sees my NJP from my previous command.
Yeah.
So we have a conversation about it. And he looks at me, he's like, "He did what?" And I'm like, "You know what, sir? It's what it is, you know?"
Yeah.
He's like, "All right." So he hands me this sheet of paper. And I looked at it and I go, "Well, what is this?" He goes, "Well, that's my recommendation for you." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "You go write my recommendation for you."
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, okay, now I made it through high school.
Yeah.
But that was a stretch at times. So I go down to medical, and I've got an HM2 down there. I got a second class that literally is working on her master's degree.
Oh, dang. Okay. Yeah.
So I sat down with her, and I'm like, "Hey, doc, I need some help." She's like, "What?" And I go, "I don't even know what to write." And she goes, "Well, I don't know what to write." I'm like, "Well, let's figure this out, because we got to write a recommendation."
Yeah.
So we knock this recommendation out, take it back. And Admiral looks at it and he goes, "That's actually pretty good." And, you know, all senior people, they want their little flair on things. So he went through and changed a couple of things and made it a little bit, and a little wordsmithing, and gave it back to me. He goes, "Go make the changes and then bring it back to me." Okay. So I do. He signs it. It goes in my record. It goes in my package.
Yeah.
So we send it off, you know, and I had made first class. So I go back through and change everything from second class to first class.
Right.
And then overnight it to Bupers so that they can take it in front of the board. And for the Seaman to Admiral program, the old program, and I think the same is true for the new one. It's now Stay 21. But when I did it, they would select 50 people Navy wide.
Wow. Okay.
So it was the criteria was you could only be, there was an age range. You had to be a certain rank. You had to have so much time in, but not too much time in to get selected.
Yeah.
But Navy wide, they would select 50.
I mean, that's when you look at our Navy, that's not a lot of people.
That's a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
So during this whole thing, my wife had we went over to medical over at Scott Air Force Base.
Okay.
So needed a sample, urine sample for whatever it was they were going to do a test on. And it was a Sunday, and there was nobody there. I mean, emergency room, because when you go in, you got to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
And there was nobody there. And we'd sat there for like an hour. And they brought pizza in and went back into the back, and they were in the emergency room staff was all eating pizza and we're sitting out in the waiting room. So I finally go get a hold of somebody and they're like, oh, well, this is what she needs to do. And I said, okay. I said, well, I want to talk to the OIC. Now here, I'm still in E5 at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to speak to the OIC. Well, she's in a meeting. Okay. I don't care. I'll wait. So all of a sudden they get the wife back there. They get stuff going on her and somebody comes and gets me and they're like, hey, go ahead and come out here. OIC will see you. I'm like, okay. So I walk into the OIC's office and she's a guy. I think she was a major.
Okay.
So an 04. And here I am in E5
Mm-hmm.
and I don't care. So she's like, well, what's the problem? And I go, we sat out there for over an hour and nobody came and asked us anything. Literally, you guys are taking pizzas back, coking and joking in the ER, and we're not getting seen. I said, I could understand if there was a ton of people out there and, but there's nobody in the waiting room. And I may have made a comment that I was glad that the Air Force was not on the front lines because as fast as they worked, people would die.
That's good.
So,
all right.
So I walk out, we get done over there. I go back in to work on Monday and I walk in and knock on the CO's desk or on the door.
Uh-huh.
He's like, yeah, what's going on? I said, well, sir, we were at Scott yesterday in the ER. He's like, okay. And I kind of gave him a brief on what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, I kind of went off on this 04 and told her that I was glad that the Air Force wasn't on the front line. I'm expecting him to be like, okay, when they call, I'll deal with it. Oh no, he picks the phone up and calls over and gets a hold of her and chews her out.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, yeah, those are just some of the fun things that took place over there.
Yeah. But that's a sign of a really good leader who's going to not take any crap and really look out for the sailors, right? And look out for his juniors. So that's
absolutely.
a good deal. Yeah.
So a good mentor that I had during that time. So we had a shipboard simulator in the reserve center. So we had all the main areas that you would find on a ship. And the CO wanted it taken out. So we started taking stuff out. I had my famous chief that I had happened to be an electrician. And so we're supposed to take all the cables out, take all the power out so that we can get this equipment out. Well, the day we're doing it, we can't find him. So I go into the XO and I'm like, hey, ma'am, this is what we're going to do. CO happened to be out for the day or for the morning. So I'm like, hey, this is what I need to do. I need to shut the breakers off, disconnect it, pull the cables out. Okay, fine. And I had Ian Engelman with me. Ian won, took him back. I said, he's going to be my safety person. If something happens, he can knock me off of the breaker panel.
Yeah.
I said, but I've got this. She's like, all right, yeah, go ahead. So we go back, take it all out. Well, at lunch, there was a civilian that was retiring from the reserve center.
Okay.
That had been staff there. And so we were having a pizza party for lunch.
All right.
So as we get done with the pizza party, the chief shows up for the pizza party. Of course, there's free food.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. He shows up and he's like, hey, we're going to go take care of all that stuff this afternoon and we'll take it all out of there. And I said, it's already done. Well, what do you mean it's already done? I said, well, it's already been disconnected. Everything's done. So he just kind of looks at me and I take off and go down with a bunch of the other guys. We're playing pool in the cruise lounge.
Yeah.
And here he comes and he brought an actual chief with him. And he was like, I need to talk to you. Okay. So I quit playing pool, told him to keep going on with the game. and we walk back into the room where the breaker panel was at.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, what did you do? Now, if you haven't realized from the first episode and so far this one, I might be a smart ass at times.
No,
allegedly.
No, I don't know if I don't know.
So I go up to him and I go, well, we took this screw out of the cover, and then we took this screw out of the cover, and then we took this screw out of the cover, and then we set the cover down on the floor. And I said, we traced the cables before that. Oh yeah, just break it down. And he goes, well, you're supposed to tag that out, 2 power sources back. And I go, Chief, there's not a tag out procedure here. We happen to be at a reserve center in the middle of Missouri.
Yeah.
In the middle of the country. I go, this isn't, direct current and you don't pull fuses. I said, this is a breaker panel. I said, and at that reserve center, we had we were there. We had the Navy recruiters for the reserve side there.
Yeah. As
well as the Marine Corps Reserve Center was all in the same building.
Nice.
So he wanted me to shut the main breaker off to the building and put everybody else in the dark so that I could take these 5 or 6 cables loose.
Wow.
Needless to say, I didn't.
But
he starts getting a little frisky, and he tells me that, well, I can write you up for this. And at that point, he tells the other chief to step out. So the other guy steps out in the hallway, and he starts just trying to go off on me. And I said, well, if you're going to write me up, I said, would you please let me know? I said, that way I can go write the paperwork up, because I don't think you're smart enough to write it up without having mistakes on it. So
oh, geez.
I'll just go do the paperwork. And at that point, I just walked out.
Yeah.
And this guy's just fuming. The chief in the hallway can hear everything. I walk out. He looks at me. He goes, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I go back to the lounge and start playing pool again.
Yeah. I love it, man.
So that weekend, this happened to be a Friday. That weekend, they call it fraternization now, but back then it wasn't looked on as bad. And so myself and my wife and my 2 kids and my master chief and his wife were at the tractor pulls.
Okay.
Middle of summer, we're at the tractor pulls. And I asked him if the other guy had talked to him, and he's like, yes. Now just remember, this is a master chief bosun mate.
Yeah.
That's been around, as we say, since Moby Dick was a minnow.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he goes, just stop. And I go, stop what? He goes, you're going to give him a heart attack, and I don't want to do the paperwork on him. So just stop. That was my butt chewing.
Yeah.
That's all it was said about it.
That's funny.
So we finish out the rest there. October comes around, and I get a phone call October 1st.
Okay.
From the duty guy that says, hey, you made it. I made what? He goes, you were selected for Seaman to Admiral.
Okay. Gotcha.
It happened to be a weekend. It happened to be a weekend. So duty guy went in, got the messages. He goes, don't let the CO know that you know.
Oh, jeez.
He goes, I'm calling you first. And I'm like, okay. So we called the CO, let the CO know. All right, good. So go in the next day, and the CO walks up to you and goes, well, congratulations. And he's got a copy of the message out there, and he shows it to me. I'm like, oh, okay. So the first drill weekend shows up. And again, this guy liked me. I still don't know why, but he calls me front and center. He's like, Petty Officer Gross, front and center. So I out of formation. And this was all the reservists on that weekend were in formations around the drill deck.
Okay.
So calls me front and center about face. So now I'm looking at 500 reservists in this room.
Yeah.
He goes, does everybody know Petty Officer Gross? And everybody's kind of like, well, yeah, he's been here about a year. We deal with him once a month. Yeah, we know him. Well, everybody knows he's pretty much worthless and he doesn't do anything around here.
Nice.
And everybody just kind of like shakes their head. They're like, excuse me? Yeah. And he'll look at you and he'll lie to you straight faced. And, all these reservists are like, what did he do?
Yeah.
What is going on here? He's like, well, being able to look at you and lie to you straight faced is something that evidently Congress thinks makes a good officer. So he's been selected for Seaman to Admiral.
That's great.
Yeah. That's how I got introduced to the Reserve Center as that I gotten selected.
Wow. That's cool though.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. So I had everybody come up and congratulate me and Chief Pinning. So E7's getting promoted to chief, gets pinned in September.
Okay.
Usually about the 15th of September. Well, this is the 1st of October, and we had a fair number of chiefs at the Reserve Center. And I was an E6, but I had just about every chief in that Reserve Center come up to me and tell me that if they would have known a month prior that I was getting selected, that I would have went through initiation and went through pinning with the chiefs to be an honorary chief.
Wow.
So they looked at it as, I was doing a job way above what I was getting paid for. I was taking care of people. I was doing what a senior leader should do.
Yeah.
So that was pretty, to me, that was one of those career moments that you just never forget.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that for everybody that's listening that might not know too much about the Navy, the chief thing, chiefs run everything. That's what they do. And to be told that, hey, we would have done that for you, that's a huge compliment, man.
Yeah, it's a worldwide fraternity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so yeah, into November, go through Thanksgiving. Into November, my orders are to report to Pensacola, Florida for Officer Candidate School December 1st.
Nice. Okay.
So jump in the truck that I've got, drive down to Pensacola, decide not to go in early in the day because why do I want that? So I go in about 1800, about 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We show up and check in. And so the first night, we meet Gunny. And I will use his name, Gunnery Sergeant Crouch.
Okay.
He had pushed boots twice through Paris Island, two separate times.
Right.
And then he came to OCS.
Yeah.
And if you want to see what he's like, you can actually look up on YouTube. They've got you can actually put in there Crouch or John Crouch USMC, and it will come up with videos because he used to take videos of everything.
Yeah.
All his introductions to his classes. We did our drill comp, so there are some very unique videos of him being introduced to a class.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. I'll have to check that out.
So he's retired now, retired as a first sergeant.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the introduction there. So you get taken down to chow. Next day, I think we got our hair cut. and go through the whole same thing. So the first night or second night that everybody was together, and we had a very small class. I think we had 38 or 39
that is really small. Okay.
candidates to start.
Yeah.
And John was known for being hard to get through his class. He had no problems with dropping people. So we started, and the first or second night, like I said, there were 4 of us to a room, and there were male and female candidates. And so 4 males, the females were in their rooms, males were in their rooms. It was 4-man rooms.
Okay.
So we're sitting there, and the 4 of us in my room happened to all be prior enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were all Seaman to Admiral, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
But we get up and we go back to the back corner of the room, and we're like, why are we doing this? 2 days ago, we would have been drinking beer with Gunny.
Yeah.
And now we're going through this crap. Why?
Yeah.
So about that time, we see a shadow go past the door. And we're like, oh no. So we get back in our racks. He had put us to bed early and told us to get everything out on your desk. So in the morning, you didn't have to get in your wall locker. You had your shaving kit out. You could just go get your shave, shower, whatever, and we could start the day.
Yeah.
Well, somebody in the room next to us decided that was not the right thing to do. So after lights out, he's up trying to get his wall locker open, get it unlocked, get it open, and he's dropping stuff on the deck.
Oh, geez.
Well, Gunny is downstairs with the senior cadets that are helping, push us through. And he hears this tink, 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 tink on the deck. So he comes up, and that was the shadow of him going past our room.
Yeah. To check it out. Yeah.
Check it out. See where this noise is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
About that time, we are told with no uncertain terms that we were to get up, get ready, and get out in the P-way. So we head out, and we had there was a staff sergeant there that was shadowing Crouch. Because he was brand new. He was just going to get a new company coming in, but supposed to shadow John for a few days or a few weeks. And so we all go out, and they can't PT us on the asphalt because we haven't been through medical yet, but they can PT us in the grass.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's an F4 on the corner. So as we're over there PTing in the grass, there's sandburrs in the grass. and all the DIs know it, but they're following the letter of the law that they can't PT us on the asphalt or on the pavement.
Right.
So then it's up to our rooms to get our blankets. We all got those wool blankets for a boot camp or OCS.
Yeah.
Back outside, and we're popping blankets. Standing there popping these things. And that is a workout in and of itself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we're outside for a while. After they decide to take us in, John takes all the males in, and the staff sergeant decides he's going to spend a little time with the females.
Mm-hmm.
So the kid that was dropping things on his deck, we all get back to our rooms, and he stands outside of his room, stands next to the door, pop tall at attention. And Crouch is like, "What are you doing? Get back in your room." He goes, "Sir, this officer candidate will not leave a shipmate behind," because the females hadn't come in yet.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Okay. So he finally goes into his room. John gets him in there. And we didn't know it, but we found out later that John had went down and talked to all the other drill instructors, and they were going to have a party in the morning to see how long it would take for this kid to quit.
Yeah.
So we start and get up in the morning. Everybody's up out in the P-way at an angle doing push-ups. Push-ups,
Nice.
setups, leg lifts, jumping jacks, rolling through the routine.
Yeah.
And again, this kid's room was right next to me. So I can hear everything going on in his room because he's right inside the door. John goes in and he goes, "Get out." No. He goes, "Do you want to quit?" And in OCS, your officer candidate school, you can actually drop on request. It's called a DOR. And it's not like boot camp, but you can quit. They'll rotate you either out, and once you quit, you're done. They just move you on into another room somewhere and do the processing. And I mean, it may take 6 months to process you out, but you can quit.
Yeah.
So our class officer, so we had a class gunny, a class chief, and a class officer.
Okay.
Our officer happened to be a British lieutenant on a foreign exchange
nice
program. So we get this, we get Gunny in there, we get the chief in there. And this kid's like, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. Gunny's like, just DOR. Just say you want to quit. So this British lieutenant goes in and is talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny enough in and of itself to hear this British officer talking to this kid. And he finally goes, "Sir, this officer candidate is suffering from lack of malnutrition." So according to that, he's getting fat. And we've only been there for a couple days.
Yeah.
So finally he DORs. And I'm trying not to laugh. Literally trying not to laugh out there. We finished getting beat for the rest of the day or the rest of the morning. It's our processing days. It's what it is.
Finished getting beat for the day.
Yeah. I mean,
good.
They had the Rose Garden was a sand volleyball court behind the battalion.
Yeah.
And so, there were times that we got to go to the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, bury your rifle, your M1s in the sand and then dig them up. And somebody actually left an M1 unsecured.
Oh, geez.
And John took that out and it got buried in the Rose Garden, and we had to go out and find it for the kid. But we ended up graduating with 19.
Wow, you went from 39 down to 19.
And we had people roll in from other classes.
Wow.
And then roll out. But as our class motto was, we were Crouch's last stand, and we were held to a higher standard.
That's good. Wow. That's awesome. I knew one instructor that went down there and was doing that job. And she said it was the most awesome thing she'd ever got to do, because there was no, I won't say there's nothing they couldn't do, but she said you could pretty much get away with anything down there. Whereas when you're like at recruit training, training the recruits, or you're at OCS for the Marine Corps, there's very strict things that you have to do. But when it comes to the Navy, she's like, they just let you do whatever.
Yeah, it was, John said he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet he did.
But he was there. He would wake us up in the morning, and he was there at lights out.
Yeah.
Our class chief, or our class E7, was not.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And as I get on to another portion of my career, we'll step back and touch base on him.
Okay. Yeah.
He actually made it to MCPON.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
And it wasn't for his stellar performance. He was the exact epitome, because when you go through OCS, you want to see what you should look at for a chief, what your chief should be when you get to the fleet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was the epitome of what you did not want as a chief when you got to the fleet.
So he was giving you a good example, but in the opposite direction. Yeah.
You know, all leadership is a good example, whether it's good leadership or bad.
That's good. That's good. I'm going to steal that. I am. Yeah, that was good.
Yes. So, yeah, we go through, the basic stuff. At one point, somebody decided, again, the F4 that was there. We walked out of the schoolhouse, and we were standing there, and somebody happened to look at the F4 on the way out of the schoolhouse. Well, OCS, you're supposed to have 1,000-yard stare at all times.
Right. Yeah.
Regardless. I mean, it's 1,000-yard stare, done. So somebody looked over at the F4. Well, we didn't know it, but John happened to be a aviation mechanic.
Ah, okay.
And so John happened to be setting in a tree that day outside the schoolhouse and saw this kid looking around.
Okay.
So needless to say, we got to play 20 questions that night on an F4.
Yeah.
And every time that we got an answer wrong, we got to do a little extra PT.
Nice. Okay. I like it.
We had a individual. So in Pensacola, you're right across from where the Blue Angels practice.
All right. Yeah.
The Blue Angels home is Pensacola, but NAS Pensacola. So John, we got our rifles and we're out learning rifle drill, just like one of the first days. So we're all standing at port arms, or present arms. We're all standing there, and he's waiting until a plane takes off.
Oh,
and we're all standing out in the middle of the intersection, at present arms, and here comes a plane, and somebody looks up at the plane.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, we paid for that.
Yeah.
The lieutenant, I was told later after talking to him, the lieutenant was just furious and scared that he was going to get in trouble because of the extracurricular activities that we would do with John in the Rose Garden.
Yeah. So he was worried he was going to get in trouble for all that.
He was worried he was going to get in trouble for all that. They said he would actually sit in the window of the battalion and look out while we were in the Rose Garden playing, having some training.
Yeah.
And just like shaking his head like, am I going to get in trouble for this?
Yeah. That's
we
funny.
Got ready so down there they would shut OCS down at Christmas.
Okay.
So mind you, I got there the 1st of December. So I pretty much used up leave that I had, and I really didn't want to go in the hole. So I was like, I'll just stay. And they're like, no, you don't understand. You're leaving.
You're not staying here.
You're not staying here. So, which ended up, you know what basket leave is? Yeah, that's what it ended up being, is basket leave. Everybody showed up, so we were all good to go.
Yeah.
But as you would get cookies or extra calories sent to you in the mail, you had to go down to Gunny's office, to the DI's office, and work them off. And you had to enter correctly and the whole 9 yards of Yeah. So somebody's wife decided they would be funny and sent their husband a whole bunch of cookies.
Yeah.
So every day he would show up down at the DI's office and work off PT while he ate cookies to work off the extra calories.
Oh,
So
that's the
it's
worst though.
Christmas.
You're PTing, but you're still having to eat the cookies.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
Yes. So you would go down every night and eat your cookies or whatever it was that got sent to you. So we're getting ready to leave for Christmas, and Gunny's got us all in a circle, and he's passing out mail. And as he's doing it, he's like, "Well, you know, I got these extra cookies and stuff down here, so you got to come work off your extra calories right now." So he calls this kid out by name. He steps forward, and if you'd been to medical, they'd take white tape and put it around the end of your name tag so that it designated you as having a medical chit.
I see. Okay.
For a medical reason you couldn't do something.
Right.
So he calls this kid out. He comes up there and he goes, "Sir, this officer candidate cannot PT." And he goes, "What? Sir, this officer candidate cannot PT. Why not?" So he pulls out his chit that gives him his medical exemption. And John takes it and he reads it. He goes, "What the hell does this say?" And he goes, "Sir, this officer candidate has hemorrhoids, sir." Now we'd all been there 3 weeks or so. No laughing, no nothing. The entire class busts out laughing.
Oh, geez, that's funny.
And as we start laughing, John starts laughing.
Yeah.
Well, then he realizes he's laughing and that we're laughing and we're having fun and we're not allowed to have any fun.
Yeah.
So down the P-way we go.
Yeah.
We all spread out. He goes, oh, you guys think that was funny? You're going to PT. Well, he eats the cookies. You're going to PT his calories off. So again, you know, side straddle hops, 8-count bodybuilders, leg lifts, the whole 9 yards. And as we're down doing leg lifts, John's like, "Oh, you guys thought that was funny? I want to hear you laugh." So we're literally doing leg lifts, just dying laughing. I mean, it was hilarious.
You gotta have some form of sense of humor when you're going through stuff, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how you make it through, you know.
It is. And you know, like I said, the prior enlisted, we all kind of got together and we're like, you know, this is a game. We've been through the game already. We've been through boot camp. Yep. We've been to the fleet. It's just a game. We can get through it.
Just got to play it.
Yep. So we did. And at one point, John was mad at us for something. And so he gave us an essay to write.
Yeah.
At the end, as we were getting ready to graduate, he's passing out essays. He's graded them like a college professor.
Okay.
And he's going on this rant about how screwed up we are, that, you know, we're all college educated and you know, we're writing like this. Well, me being me, again, I'd never been to college. I graduated high school. I went to the fleet.
Yeah.
And in the original Seaman to Admiral program, you would get selected. You would go through OCS. You would go do your division officer tours on your ship or your aircraft or whatever. Then you would rotate back to college as a lieutenant.
Oh, wow.
For 3 years. And they would pay you as a lieutenant to go to school for up to 3 years to get your degree.
Holy cow. Okay.
They've changed it now. Now you get selected, you go through college, you graduate, and then you go to OCS and get your commission.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes
sense. So they've changed it up a little bit. Saves money, and it saves the guys that figured out they could fail their last class and then get kicked out and then go back and finish their final class. And a lot of those I was told were pilots that would get their flight time and then they would go work for Delta or whoever.
Oh, right. Yeah.
As pilots.
Yeah. Because they're making good money doing that.
They were making good money doing that. So yeah, we go to Christmas, we come back. We're the junior class. So PT, you'd go on a I forget how many mile run it would be in the morning. And the junior class wasn't supposed to make the whole run.
Okay.
Well, John decided we were going to make the whole run. The senior classes all had people that had run drops.
Yeah.
So that was another feather in John's hat that his junior class weren't pigs like the other classes. They weren't pig classes. And his class actually didn't have a run drop. And all the rest of those unsavory classes had run drops.
Unsavory classes. I love it.
So yeah, that, like I said, OCS was a definite experience. I loved it.
Yeah.
John would give all the drill instructors would do something different. John's thing was to give out dog tags of Medal of Honor recipients.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
So I've still got mine on my set of dog tags from OCS.
Yeah.
It's got my Medal of Honor recipient on there. And then we'd have to do a paper on that. I had to read up and stand up in front of the class. And if I remember, I'd do a little presentation on our Medal of Honor recipient.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Yeah.
You know, those are things that, just stay with you forever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's really
cool.
Cool.
We had almost a record drill comp with 19 people.
I can't believe it. 19. That's just wild.
And if you go look at the YouTube videos, we were class 1, 2, 9, or 8.
Okay.
So there's our drill comp there. And as we start out, we ended up doing a Queen Anne salute. And Gunny was into 8th and I and the silent drill team.
Yeah.
So, we all got together. We decided we were going to do this Queen Anne salute without him knowing about it.
Oh,
so
no.
Get out on the drill field and we start out like that. And Master Guns is there to evaluate us. And he makes a comment, something to the effect of, somebody's been watching too many 8th and I movies, Gunny.
I love it. Oh, that's good stuff.
So yeah, we get through and we're getting these papers back that John had graded. And as he's passing them out, he goes, "Gross, F. You got to be shitting me. You got an F? All these college educated people and you come up with an F?" So I step forward. I'm like, "Sir, this officer candidate is not college educated." And he just gets this deer in the headlights look like, "What did you just say?" "Sir, this officer candidate is a Seaman to Admiral candidate, sir." So then he calls all the other Seaman to Admiral candidates out. We all step forward. "Jesus Christ. This is the best the Navy has to offer. You got to be shitting me."
Yeah. Nice.
So, yeah. And, first salutes after graduation. I ended up giving John $2 silver.
Oh, wow.
Instead of one. If I would have been thinking, I wouldn't have gave the E7 a silver dollar, and I would have actually just given it to John.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story. But I gave him two to signify that I really appreciated, the training that I got from him.
Yeah.
So after graduation, I'm packing my truck up because I drove down there. So I'm packing that up, and it was over by the McDonald's, and him and a couple of the other drill instructors were over there grabbing lunch, and I seen him, and walks up and he goes, "You realize you gave me $2 silver?" I said, "Yes, I do." And, I said, "I appreciate everything that you did." So that was, we got done with that, went home, packed up the truck and packed up the U-Haul and drove to Rhode Island to surface warfare school.
Okay. Yeah, good old Rhode Island. It gets a little chilly up there.
It was. Well, I mean, it was over the summer when we were there because we graduated from OCS Friday, March 13th of 1998.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Lucky day for me.
I love it.
So, we went to SWAS and went through that for 4 or 5 months, I think it was.
Okay.
Nothing real big happened up there. I mean, it was just you were in school, you were in classes all day long.
Now, is that where you're learning
how to drive a ship?
Okay, but that's for your job specifically, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the aviation guy stayed in Pensacola.
Got you.
And went to flight training.
Mm-hmm.
The SWOs, or the surface warfare officers, went to Rhode Island to learn how to drive ships,
right,
and that type of stuff. Your supply officers went down to Athens, Georgia, to go through supply school. So yeah, whatever your specialty was, you went on to that pipeline for training.
Okay.
But yeah,
and what determined you getting SWO?
I had glasses, so I couldn't be a pilot.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
And there was a few different criteria that you had to have, and I mean, SWO is the most common, kind of like an infantry officer.
Got you. Yeah.
It's they say SWOs eat their own.
Okay.
And it's true. They're hard on them when they get to the fleet, and that's why the progression is a pyramid.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, graduated there. Came back to Nebraska on my way. I got picked up orders and went to the Port Royal in Hawaii. So back to the islands.
Yeah. Very nice.
Went out there as the auxiliaries officer.
Okay.
CG-73, which was the last cruiser built. And it wasn't the last one decommissioned. They decommissioned her early. Because of some issues. She ran aground at one point. And so they, I think that was 2009, I think is when she ran aground. I'd have to look back. I'm thinking from deployments, and I think it was on that deployment that I went on that she ran aground.
I mean, the people are getting fired for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. One of my OCS classmates, we actually went to the Port Royal together for our division officer tours. He ended up as a gunnery officer. I was auxiliaries officer. And when she ran aground, he happened to be, I believe he was the operations officer on the Port Royal.
Oh, wow.
And so my understanding, they fired a CO and XO and fleeted him up until they got somebody else there.
Wow.
To take over.
Yeah. Holy cow.
So, yeah.
Man, that's got to be nerve-wracking.
Yes.
Right? I'm getting fleeted up. These dudes just ran her aground. I'm going to be taken over, man. I'd have been nervous as all get out.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he had a really good knowledge. Like I said, he was prior enlisted. He was a Seaman to Admiral as well.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of experience, and he's a great guy. He actually retired out there in Pearl.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to his retirement in September of 22.
Okay. Very nice.
Went out to his retirement. And then he actually came back here to mine in 23.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, there's more to his story. We'll get into that as we go.
Okay.
But yeah, ended up as the auxiliaries officer. So all kinds of equipment all over the ship.
Mhm.
Had a great chief, an amazing chief. We're still friends to this day.
Mhm.
Um, him and his wife showed up for my retirement as well. They flew in from Hawaii,
Nice.
come
Okay.
over. But had guys, and you know, the new lieutenant, the new ensign,
Mhm.
shows up, and everybody's got to mess with them just to see what they can get away with.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's just nature. So I had my enlisted surface warfare pin that
Uh-huh.
I'd gotten on while I was on the Copeland.
Right.
So, you know, the chief's seen it, and he's like, all right, we talked. We got along great.
Yeah.
Well, all my guys decided they wanted to push the new ensign and just see what they could get away with. And they were just
Yeah.
doing stupid stuff.
Uh-huh.
So we got them together one day. I said, let's get everybody together after lunch. So we got together, and I'm like, look, you guys are trying to play the funny games, and I get it. But I've already played the funny games on other people. So all the stuff you're trying to pull on me, I've already pulled on somebody else. So just stop. Let's just get the work done. Yeah.
So that's on one side that's pretty disappointing
It is.
for them. But the other side, it's well, hey, we can just get back to work. It's all good. So
Well, and again, you know, as a junior officer, I looked after my people. My people were my primary focus.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, it was disappointing, but they got to see a side of an officer that most people don't.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I would
that's a
go
good
down in the
point.
hole. I would go down in the hole and work on equipment with them
Mhm.
side by side,
Yeah.
you know, turning wrenches. And they were like, what are you doing? It needs to get done. Let's get it done. And I had some of the officers say, well, you're not supposed to be doing that. Well, sorry, but you know, that's how I am.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something to be said for that, though. You know, it's important to see that one, your leaders care enough that they'll come and do that stuff, but two, that they're knowledgeable enough to be able to come down and do that stuff with you.
Yep. Yep. Had one of my guys show up one morning for quarters with a tongue ring.
Oh God.
And he was clicking it on the inside of his teeth. And so I called him out on it and told him to open his mouth. He opens his mouth, and I'm like, all right, here's your deal. Go take it out. I don't ever want to see it again. Or I may remove it with a rusty pair of pliers.
Nice.
Never had the problem again. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure he was happy to take it out.
He was. Yeah, well, I was on the Port Royal. We ended up going to the Marshall Islands.
Okay. Very
So
cool.
crossed the international date line, went over to off the Bikini Atolls. That was, besides South America, that was probably some of the best waters I'd been in. When we pulled into the island, it took a couple hours for the sand to settle underneath the ship.
No kidding. Wow.
But you could, once everything settled out, and it might not have been that long, but it was a while for it to settle. But once everything settled down, the water was so clear. It was about, I believe, about 30 foot deep, if I remember right.
Mhm.
And you could literally throw a quarter over the side and watch it hit the sand at the bottom.
No kidding. Wow.
It was that
That's pretty
close.
clear. And did you guys get to get off the ship there? Or?
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
I think I had duty that day, but you know, some of the guys were off, and we pulled in, and we'd actually went to Alaska. So a Hawaii ship going to Alaska. We ended up with some chiller lines frozen because the ship wasn't set up for that.
Yeah.
But you know, that happened.
Wow.
We let's see. That's when my first wife decided she didn't like me anymore.
Okay.
Is when I was on that. We were getting ready we were doing workups for to go to a Westpac.
Mm-hmm.
And we were off the coast of Hawaii doing some stuff, and she ended up leaving me and took my 2 kids and came back to Nebraska.
Oh, wow.
So that was a interesting thing. Not to go into too much of it, but during the divorce, my youngest at the time, was with my parents and ended up disappearing for about a week. Yeah, she ended up letting somebody else take him, and she ended up behind bars for a few days.
Wow.
And my parents couldn't find him, and my daughter was freaking out because she took care of him, or
Yeah.
But
Holy
during
cow.
that divorce, I ended up getting custody of the kids.
Okay.
So once I got custody of the kids, I flew back to Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
and that all started with, I flew out of San Diego, took a helo off the ship into San Diego, and had the corpsman that I put 3rd class on pick me up, take me to the airport, and fly me back to Nebraska so I could find my son. He showed up shortly before I got home. And then I go in, get the divorce done, go into the XO when I get back, and I hand him my divorce decree.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I got my 2 kids. I got custody of them. I don't have anybody to take care of them. I know we're getting ready to do a deployment,
Mm-hmm.
but what do I do? And he's like, put your paperwork in and get the hell out of my Navy.
Jeez.
Now, when I flew off on the helo that day, I had asked him, I had talked to my department head, which had been a prior enlisted senior chief, went warrant, and then went LDO, and he was a lieutenant commander. He was an 04.
Yeah.
So he'd been around forever. But I had talked to him, and he was like, well, go talk to the XO and see what you can do. And I talked to the XO, and the XO forgot to say something to the CO, and I'd been up in combat and I knew what the flight schedule was. So I went up with the CO standing next to the XO and played dumb and was like, so sir, is there any chance that I can get off of here to go find my son? And the CO looked at him and goes, excuse me? So I wasn't in great with the XO after that.
Yeah.
But he told me to get out. So I actually spent the next month or so, we were in port. It was right after Christmas.
Uh-huh.
I spent Y2K on board. I had duty that night.
No kidding.
Yep. We had all the diesels running, or all the gas turbines running, so that if we lost power,
Yeah.
we could switch over to ship's power, and had part of engineering in just so we could have stuff running.
Wow. I bet that was a little nerve-wracking for everybody, though.
It was
Just the not knowing of what's going to happen.
exactly.
Yeah.
What time zone is it supposed to happen? Well, nobody knows. It's supposed to happen the first one. It's supposed to happen the last one.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. So, yeah, I'd ended up doing a humanitarian discharge. Wrote my statement on what had taken place. It's like over the last year that has put you in this situation. And sent it in, got to PERS. Some lieutenant looks at it. I called to make sure that they got it. He sees Ensign Gross is putting in for a hardship discharge. So he's seeing somebody just got out of college.
Oh, right.
Got their commission, and now they want to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, well, I'm doing boards right now, so I don't have time to look at it. Okay. So the ship pulled out, left me in Hawaii with the kids. And we, multiple times I tried to call him, got a hold of him. He's like, I'll take a look at it. I'm doing boards, but I don't have time. Okay. Next day he calls me. He's like, are you okay? Are the kids okay?
See, he didn't even look at it at all then.
Hadn't looked at it. And I'm like, yeah, we're fine. He's like, okay. But at that point he saw, okay,
Yeah.
here's somebody that's got 8 years in, has been through all of this, and this is where he's at. And he was like, yeah, go ahead and go over and get your household goods packed up. And so I got out on the 22nd of March. So I did 8 years, 4 months, and 10 days on active duty.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dang. That's wild. So at that point, then humanitarian release is what you got.
Correct.
Yeah. So and that's so you could go back home or go wherever you needed to go to take care of the kids. And
technically, I was out of the Navy.
Got you. Okay.
But I was still in the reserves.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I flipped into what they call an inactive reserve.
Okay. Yeah.
Because my time started over with my commission. So I fell into that inactive reserve period. Never drilled, never did anything. So yeah, I was like, I got to take care of the kids, got a job, ended up getting remarried. And yeah, so that's where we will let's call this one. That's a great stopping point.
I know you hit it just in the right nick of time too.
I was kind of watching that.
That's good. Because I'll be honest, I wasn't really paying attention. So I'm glad you were. I was enthralled with the story, man. I was there.
We did have things. I got a couple minutes here.
Yeah.
While I was on the Port Royal, we pulled into San Francisco, and we got this brand new ensign that just came out of the academy.
Right.
And he was going to be the electrical officer. So the electrical officer that was on board, she was great, loved her. But this new guy, me and my OCS classmate, went up in the wardroom when we were eating breakfast.
Right.
And we're like, how are we going to mess with the new guy? So as we're there, the operations officer walks in. And he's like, what are you guys thinking about? Well, how are we going to mess with the new guy? So he puts the operations officer put the new guy on the watch bill for lowering the mast so that we could get underneath the Coronado Bridge in San Diego. So
there's no way.
Right?
Oh, that's funny.
So I go see an anchor, go to our stations as we're pulling in, and the guys on the forecastle, which is where I was at, were keeping tabs because on the sound powered phones, they were telling everybody where this guy was at. They gave him a check sheet and had him running around the ship, getting signatures so that he could get it signed off to get permission to lower the mast.
Yeah.
So by the time the current electrical officer shows up on the forecastle, she was grabbing the pilot to take him to the pilot house as we were pulling in. And I said, hey, where's your new guy at? And everybody busts out laughing. And she goes, what's going on? Well, by that time, he's behind the bridge at the mast, and there's a loudspeaker that they use for ship to ship communication if you need verbal communication.
Right.
And he's cranking on this speaker, and it's going around and around because he thinks he's cranking the mast down.
Oh, that's funny.
And she was pissed at me. So she goes down and talks to the chief engineer and tells the chief engineer what I did. So after seeing anchor, I see the chief engineer, and he looks at me and he goes, hey, Gross. I'm like, yes, sir. He goes, do you know anything about the new electrical officer cranking the mast down? I'm like, sir, you'd need to check with the operations officer on that. I think he's the one that put him on the watch bill.
That's pretty good, though. I like that.
Yes.
I like it.
And I actually seen him at my chief's retirement in 2004. All of his division officers on that ship showed up for his retirement.
Oh, wow.
And as we were sitting there, I looked at this guy and I'm like, hey, did that upset you? He goes, he said, I know it's hazing, but that was the best thing you could have done because everybody on board seen him as the new officer. But once that happened, he was part of the crew.
Yeah.
Because everybody screwed with him. He found out where all the nooks and crannies were, but the crew opened up and was like, he's now part of the crew.
Yeah. 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 That's good. That's awesome.
Even though it was hazing.
Yeah.
It was more of a camaraderie thing than anything else.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I like that. Well, shoot. Thanks for doing this again. We finished part 2. They'll have to come back for part 3. So, hey, we're moving right along, you know. It's
absolutely
good. All right, I'll close this one out the same way. To everybody out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some good resources. You can dial 988 press option 1. You can always text 838-255 or go to veteranscrisisline.net, click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. Dan cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. If you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to buddies you served with, ask them how they're doing. And if they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, one last time. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. To everybody out there, stay motivated. Change your socks.
No more 22. On to the journey and finish the fight.